Let's address the board. Come tonight, you can stand up and give your address and address them for anything. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm Rick Jennings. I guard your western border. I'm a resident down at 215 Cardinal Way. Proud resident, city of Churchill. Want to commend you gentlemen and your predecessors. I think I'm proud to be, I'm a resident of Churchill by choice. I have the distinction as I grew up in Lynn Garden with the mayor there and went to high school with him. But, I just want to come before the board and start a general discussion. As a resident of Churchill, if I want a beer with my taco, I gotta go to Mount Carmel or Rogersville to spend my money. And I think as a resident of Churchill, I don't enjoy the opportunities that people in the neighboring cities and townships are able to enjoy. And the Mexican restaurant right across from me has never been able to get a beer license. Because I think you have like a 2,000 foot restriction from a school or
It's
something.
1,200, ain't it, Chris?
I'm not sure the
The
distance.
school, I don't
There
know.
is a distance prohibition.
Well, I researched it a little bit and understand that the other communities or the other cities and towns in Hawkins County, namely Sigornsville, Mount Carmel, and Rogersville, have a restriction that is less than 500 feet. And folks, I don't want to send my tax dollars to Mount Carmel and Rogersville. But the city of Churchill is forcing me to do that. And we could probably talk all night about the logic that you can't see Volunteer High School from the restaurant and vice versa. And I just understand in doing more research that 2 years ago, we lost a barbecue restaurant because of the same restriction. And again, y'all do a great job here. I brag about what Churchill does and what they do with the money and how clean it is and how well kept the streets are. I grew up in Kingsford, and you blow them away, you know. And like I said, I moved here by choice and am a proud resident of Churchill. But somehow, the city of Churchill don't have any problem with people having a meal and having alcohol. I don't know how many years back, but we voted in liquor with a drink, if I'm correct. And you can presently go get a liquor, that restaurant down there could probably get a liquor license and sell liquor in that building. I remember reading about the guy up here next to Patsy's that actually did that, went to the state, got a liquor license. And he could sell liquor in that building, but Churchill said he couldn't serve a beer. And I just don't think it's fair to the citizens of the city of Churchill that I can't go eat a taco and drink a beer in a restaurant that you can't even see a school from. And I just want to put that in front of y'all. Is there any way that, one, we can make it easier for restaurants to do business in the city of Churchill? And me as a citizen of Churchill, not have to drive to Rogersville or Mount Carmel to get me some Mexican food or a pizza or whatever it happened to be and enjoy a beer with my meal. Then I'm not doing this for anybody that's wanting to open a restaurant. Not doing it for the guy that, I guess you all know that the guy in Mount Carmel is opening, since the other Mexican restaurant moved out, he's opening number 2, and he's chosen to do it in that building that other restaurant just moved out of. And I love their food up there, so I called up there and I said, hey, when you guys get down here in Churchill, which is right across the street from my house, can I get me a beer? And they said, no, you can't do it. And he said the state won't let me do it, which he didn't really understand, that the state didn't have anything to do with it, that it's a city ordinance that won't let beer be sold in that building. And I just bring it to you for the residents of Churchill. can you make life easier for us and keep these tax dollars in the city of Churchill? And I guarantee you, my part, it's a lot of them, because we eat out all the time, and I'm gonna have me some Mexican food 1 or 2 nights a week, and I'm being forced to spend my tax dollars in another township or city in Hawkins County to do so. And that's where I request that y'all consider revising that, whatever it is, law or whatever, to allow that to happen. I try to look at stuff real logically, and I'm not sure why a car's driving from Volunteer past this restaurant and people in there enjoying a meal and a beer. I don't see the harm in that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. What is the distance, Chris? You remember?
I'd have to look there.
I think it's 1,200 feet the way the crow flies.
12 to 15, it is high, we've looked at it before.
Yeah,
I think they should
I'll
readjust
And
it.
Rick, what is Mount Carmel's distance?
I think it's like 400 feet or something. I mean, I do know for a fact, and I'm referencing an old Times News or Rogersville Review article that listed the distances, and it was back to 22 when you all denied the barbecue restaurant. But all 3 of them, Mount Carmel, Sigornsville, and Rogersville, were less than 500 feet.
So even if that be the case, Volunteer, it would still be too close to it.
No, Volunteer is much further than 500 feet.
Is it?
Oh, yeah, considerably.
Our ordinance says, church and, school, and there's a church right there on the corner too, of, Elm Springs.
not Elm Springs.
Pleasant Chapel,
Is that Pleasant Chapel?
yeah.
But I mean, if you all adopted the same thing our sister cities have, there's not anything within 500 feet of that restaurant building that I'm aware of. You know, at one time I wanted to do an overlay of the city of Churchill and see if this law blocks out any restaurant from locating in Churchill and selling alcohol. I don't know where it would be. Anywhere in Churchill where they could do that, if they wanted.
Well, the liquor, but the drink, they went to the state and got that.
Right, but that's the irony of the situation. They could go down there in that Mexican restaurant and sell hard liquor, and they could actually sell beer as long as it was high gravity beer.
Yeah.
So they can do that. They can bypass these by going to the state. But for the state to allow liquor in that building and Churchill won't allow beer in that building, it's not logical to me. And to me, I feel that you're, as a citizen of Churchill, I'm not being granted the opportunities that citizens of the neighboring cities have in terms of enjoying a taco and a beer.
It is 1,200 feet,
Yeah.
and the last way that we measured it was as the bird flies, if I remember right. And that was when Rebel Yell was trying to open and get their beer permit.
Yeah, it is.
And my statement then was the same as it would be with this. I mean, I would rather have some control as no control. And when we voted it down last time, I think it was a 2-5 vote, if I'm not mistaken, that we voted it down to 4, 5 against. She did exactly that. She opened the bar. She had, and it didn't last, and I don't know if that was, here or there, but, why it didn't last, but she did get her exactly what she's talking about. She did get her liquor license. She sold liquor by the drink. They had karaoke parties and barred all night and motorcycle parties, everything you can think of, and just went ahead with it, so. But it is, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
1,200.
But
The last ordinance, they requested it be changed to 800 was the.
Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, I think we measured that as the crow flies.
It is, that is correct. I
Yeah.
do know that for a fact.
And that, that they were within, I think, you're right, I think it was like 780 some feet, something like that, so they requested it to be 800 or so, I believe, I have to look back, but I'm with you, my friend, I don't drink, and I'm not saying that's, good, bad, whatever, each person their own with that, that's their own personal preference, but I do eat it. I eat out every weekend. I made my wife a promise she didn't have to cook on weekends. We got married 10 years ago, and we eat out Saturdays and Sundays, and every restaurant that we go to, they serve it. So, it's, Again, I stand by what I've said for years now. You know, for me to vote against it is almost hypocritical in my opinion, but, you know, I'd rather the city have some control over it and allow some versus having none over it when they get a liquor license, so.
Well, we can look into it, Chris, and, look at it down the road. The only thing that we had on those stage though is the facility we're talking about, that was built in an R1. And trust me, we had several problems, did we, Chad?
Yes, sir.
I don't know, to this day, I don't know how that facility got to be an R1. But it did create a lot of problems for our policemen and a lot of complaints in an R1. You just don't put a bar in the middle of an R1. And
Need to get a petition
I'll be
going.
like that. That's where we're at, but we'll look at it and see.
Yeah, I wasn't asking for a bar or anything else, you know, I mean, I went up, and again, we eat out all the time. My wife works like her, she don't have to cook, but we eat out about every meal. But right now, I can't do it in Churchill, because I'm gonna eat me some Mexican food, I'm gonna enjoy a beer with it.
Well, if truth's known, now that you said that Churchill Streets was better than Lane Garden, you probably can't do it in Lane Garden either.
Well, I'm not going to Lynn Garden either. I got a lot of reasons not to go there. But I can guarantee you, this week, I'll be in Rogersville or I'll be in Mount Carmel spending my money, giving my tax dollars, so I can enjoy the meal I want to enjoy. And that just, as great as Churchill is, and if I had any complaint, that would probably be my only one. And I just can't help it. There's not a lot more citizens would enjoy being able to do that and keep the money home. I mean, I opened a business down here, and it's still operating today. I sold my business, but we employ about 55 people. And like I said, I'm the westernmost house in Churchill. I'm guarding the border down there for everybody. And I'd love to go across the street and get me a taco and a beer. And that's the only reason I'm here. I ain't gonna make no money off of this. You're just gonna make my life easier and save me some gas and let me give my money to Churchill instead of somebody else. That's what I'm saying.
Well, and I gotta go back to what Michael says, you know, when that took place down here at the barbecue and they brought in liquor for the drink. The municipality wants control, some sort of control. I'm not saying control, but you wanna have an input when businesses does come in. And basically, when you go to liquor and drink, our input's over with then. And I've had this conversation with the chief, you just don't want it. It's not good for your community. So, Chris, you look into it and look at other municipalities and we'll look at it.
Just think we're at a competitive disadvantage to the other communities and icing on the revenue that it would bring.